anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently...
What is going on, YouTube and Thomas? We're about to get the proof that of Captain Kirk hating BirdOPrey if I timed it right, because when people put in a super chat, if Streamlabs does its job any second now.
Hello world, it's BirdOPrey5. Kapla! Kapla!
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
There it is. Thank you, Thomas. And wants to see number 17. You got it, my friend.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
Just there's Bird hiring a Korogan prostitute there. So in a day. Thomas was first in the house. Good to see you, Thomas. Rock Solid is second. Josh Street first after Thomas. Actually, first after Rock Solid. Thoris the Wolf is here. Says good morning, y'all. Luke Fovark is here. Says bonjour, my ladies and misters. By the way, Luke, I'm telling you this because I know that these earlier streams play better in Europe. Tomorrow, probably not going to be a morning stream. I talked about it a little bit last night. My schedule tomorrow is freaking nuts. I don't know. You know, I have a doctor's appointment. The wife has a doctor's appointment. Joshua has an appointment with one of the people at our church. I have a small group of people that I lead that I do every Wednesday morning. It's just the entire day from dusk till dawn, from dawn till whatever is. No, I'm thinking of Quentin Tarantino, but the whole day is screwed. So I'm going to try to get a stream in there somewhere, but I have no idea when I will be able to. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, Luke, because you're always here during our daytime streams. Captain Cat says hello. Hey, Captain. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. John DeMarco is here. BirdOPrey says lies. Well, yes, Bird, you do lie quite a bit, but as you could see, I have the video proof, so no lies. And Thomas with his $1.99 super chat says, Somalia is a paradise compared to Karoga. Yeah, it is very true. Two types of lies. Lies and dang lies. Josh Street says, breaking news, the evil god dictator is going on trial in Kurdistan for war crimes. That is very true. We just got to, once we capture him, he's going on trial. YouTube app just updated. Well, hope it didn't, there was a good update, I guess. Thomas is laughing. Peter says, evening, Anti-Checker, how did it go? I'm still here, you know, and so yesterday was a very rough day. For those of you that were here last night, thank you for all the support that you offered. But I had a very dear friend of mine pass away yesterday. Not completely out of left field or anything. I knew he was sick and he was terminal, but we were expecting him to pass away around the beginning of next year. And I was hoping, once I got the insurance stuff straightened out with at work, to be able to take a quick trip out to Portland to visit with him. And, well, he died. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But that last night was rough. I'm not going to lie. And I'm still feeling it. It's, you know, on top of all the rest of the crap I've been dealing with, to have that happen was just, that hurt. But you guys helped pull me through it. I'm feeling a little better. I actually managed to get enough energy to edit together that little thing with the BirdOPrey and BirdOPrey. And so, yeah, it's, I'm just so freaking done. And now I got this ticking clock. I got to try and figure out how to, you know, I got to prove that my absence from work is justified by trying to find a psychiatrist or a psychologist that can show that why the constant pain would stop me from being able to talk to people rationally who are cussing at me and screaming at me. And so but I only have a few days to try and do that. So it's, I'm so freaking done. Captain Spires here says, the lore! Yes. Azing, no idea how to say your name. Afternoon, everyone. Thank you. If that was Enterprise D, would have destroyed. It would have destroyed the Bird of Prey with one torpedo. No, if it was the Enterprise D, the Bird of Prey would have destroyed it, as we saw in Star Trek Generations. Rocksolid says, don't forget, people, smash that like button, share via socials, set the chat to live chat, donate if you can, and subscribe to Nerdrotic. Hey. How many Law and Order spin-offs do they need? At least one less than what we have. Uncle Remus is in the house, says, hi, and Checker, hope you're well. Thank you, my friend. John says, if it was the Enterprise D, the warp core would have immediately exploded. Very true. Commander Strand says, hello. Peter says, the doctor is tomorrow. Well, I went to a doctor yesterday, too. Yesterday was a busy day as well. I saw the orthopedic surgeon yesterday, and he basically looked at the x-rays of my knee that the spine joint pain specialist sent over, and he's like, I don't know what they're talking about. The arthritis in your knee is not that bad. So on Thursday of this week, I get to go in for another MRI. The previous MRI was on my back. Now they're doing one on my knee. I'm so done with this crap. And so, yeah. And I guess Joe lost power, I saw on Skype. So, Joe, I hope, you know, the photon torpedoes knocked out your power. That sucks. If you could only do a 5-minute stream update of how the day is going, we'll be okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do, Josh, but, you know, I hate cutting you guys off at all. Luke says, understood, no worries about the appointments, thank you. The new Star Trek Lower Decks is to be set on a starship, which is a new class, California class ship. Oh my god, is that true? 4:30 here in the UK, and Checker, I'm glad I'm here for your mornings usually. I know, Peter, and thank you. Dan says it's 16:30 in the UK. Yes. Well, when I say morning streams, I mean morning local time for me. So when I do a morning stream, obviously it's afternoon for you guys, as opposed to when I do my normal evening stream, it's so early in the morning that most of you guys are still in bed. You know, so, which, totally understandable. I'm not accusing Europeans of being lazy. That's America's job. But you know, that's just the timing of it all. Night Breeze says, hi. Hey, Night Breeze. Peter says, yes, you look alive, man. Checker. Oh, man. Hope his family are okay. I tell you, Greg, that's my friend that passed away. Greg's family, I feel so bad for them. He has 5 kids, 2 sets of twins. The younger set of twins is only about 10 years old. So now that I don't even want to think about what they're going through. So even though I feel bad, you know, I've been feeling down about it, I feel worse for his family than me, obviously. So, Surf says, sorry for your loss. Lost a couple of brothers not long ago. It sucks. It does. My sincere condolences from me and my family. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate it. Unrelated question. Were there any Irish slaves in America, or did British stop enslaving them by the time they colonized the U.S.? My understanding is, and I'm not a history expert, so anybody feel free to correct me, but my basic understanding on that, Luke, is that there was indentured servitude was very popular a way for Irish and Scots to get to America, but not traditional slavery. Oh.
Hello, world. It's BirdOPrey5.
BirdOPrey5.
And there goes Bird. Killed
Good
by Captain
shooting,
Kirk.
Mr. Scott.
And Mexican Iron Man, thank
Hello,
you.
world. It's
BirdOPrey5.
BirdOPrey5.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
There we go. Thank you. And I'll get to both your chats in just a minute, which is weird because I think Mexican Iron Man's chat came in first, but that's kind of just weird. So as far as Irish slaves, that's my understanding. They were indentured servants, as were the Scots, but I don't know of an actual slave trade of anything other than Africans in the United States in the colonial times. I missed whatever video you played at the beginning. Well, there you got to see it twice just now, Bird. So there's, so take that, my friend. And let me see. Sorry now. I got a problem with cussing and blinding with people if they think I'm not. I have a problem with cussing and blinding with people if they think I am not disabled. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, Peter. I'm weighing around with the subscribe to message in their anti-tracker figure. Going to be going with Gary was safe. That's fine. My mom is getting an x-ray soon. Her thumb hurts and they don't know why. Oh, that sucks. I hope that she's well. I hope it's nothing too serious. But yeah, if it hurts, I hate that kind of thing. Well, the spinal problem could lead to pain in the knees. Actually, what the other doctor is saying is the other way around, that it was the knee problem that's contributing to the spine, which I'm fine with. I don't care what the solution is. Just freaking fix it. And just, that's the thing that drives me nuts. I don't care, if you, whatever you got to do at this point, doctors, I don't care. Just do it. Bird says, no, I didn't lose power. I was talking about Cinnabon's mobile base and space engineers. Oh, okay. That's true about Lower Decks. It was announced at Comic-Con. That's just horrible. A California class, I don't even want to know what it looks like. And a Mexican Iron Man puts $10 into the chat. Thank you, my friend. Morning, breakfast, midday, lunch, courtesy of Mexican Iron Man. Great to hear you and see you feeling better. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man. I truly appreciate it. I hope that things improve very quickly. I'm so done with the pressure I'm just freaking done. Luke throws €5 into the chat. Thank you, Luke. I do appreciate it. Says, made in Karoga is a trademark dreaded by Klingon BirdOPrey owners who are unsure whether their ship will break apart on the fly for no reason. And Luke wants number 18.
I have to save that old person. Sam! Well, thank you very much for helping me steal this.
There we go. Bird says, they also said the first officer was like Will Riker with a California attitude. I just said, dude, I'm totally the first officer. This show sounds horrible. Rock Solid says, hashtag donation hype. Sorry, I'll shut up about that. I'm not trying to sound like I'm just trying to get your money, but I do want your money. Dr. Alex says, there were Irish slaves in Jamaica in the 17th century. Well, okay, I didn't know that, but there you go. Great, let's see. Great video clip. Thank you, Peter. Dr. Alex says, see my Captain Blood review. I love the movie Captain Blood. However, Luke was specifically asking about Irish slaves when he said Irish slaves in America, I assume he means the United States as opposed to anywhere on the American continents. So as far as I know, the United States never had slave trade of anything other than Africans, but I don't know. And you lost your brother? No, not my brother, but a very dear friend. A friend named Greg, who was just a few years older than me. He was my boss at work for 5 years. I've known him for about 10, and unfortunately, he passed away yesterday from cancer. Live Auntie has the right idea, but just got to see if I can get a cash advance on my check. Gas is getting a wee bit low. SJW class, really? Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, and Auntie definitely has the right idea there. Yes. Life with Matthew is in the house. Says, good morning, Tricker, and all had to rewind to see the Bird of Prey donation animation. That's hilarious. Yes, I do love that. That was fun. And Trigger, what do you think about the Hunt movie release that was canceled? The Hunt movie release that was canceled. I didn't hear about it, Uncle Ramus. I've been dealing with life, so I haven't been keeping up on the news. Do I get notifications at 7:30 in the morning to say you went live? I do get notifications at 7:30 in the morning to say you went live. Well, that's odd, unless it's 7:30 in the morning when I go live where you are. Wait, I got it. Don't forget, people, smash the like button, share via social, set chat to live chat, donate if you can, and subscribe to BirdOPrey5, even though down with Kuroga. Is that better? Well, rock solid. I think that rather than saying subscribe to BirdOPrey5, you should probably say subscribe to a good channel. But, that's, phrase it how you want. California class, just a warp nacelle. Yeah. Oh, man. Mexican Iron Man is laughing. Kronos says first. Well, you're definitely the first Kronos. I had an ancestor that was taken to be an indentured servant at the age of 8 and was not freed until he was in his late 40s when the guy's grandson freed him. Wow. Well, I'm not saying indentured servitude was a picnic. I'm just saying that that was what was legal as far as I know. Chrono says, how are you going this morning? A little stressed. Right after the live stream, I got to make a bunch of phone calls. I got to try and track down a psychiatrist or psychologist that I can get to do a assessment of me very quickly for the insurance people. It's nothing like trying. I love it when these companies that know damn well that it takes months to get an appointment with someone say you have, 6 days. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? You mean a warped nacelle? Yeah. No, that was a positive donation type. A shout out to those who donated. Oh, okay, Roxanne. I wasn't sure. I thought you were berating me for talking about it because I don't mean to. California class giant surfboard. That's kind of what I picture. Darren says, morning. Didn't realize you were streaming already. Yes, Darren, I am here. Josh says, indentured servant was set time, but it could be extended for anything. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of the practice of indentured servitude, but I guess I kind of understand it. Derek says, what's his fascination with the Irish today? I don't know. You'd have to ask Luke. He was asking about it. Chrono says, please, not the P corner. Where I live, we call those we call close friends brothers and sisters. Well, in that case, Greg was a brother, but I tend to reserve that title for actual blood relations. Live with Matthew says, California class isn't allowed to go above Warp 3 due to space environmental concerns. That's probably going to be in there. Like Commander Riker with California attitude? Oh, so like Herman Schmeckelbeck. Yes, that is absolutely right. That's a great way to describe Herman Schmeckelbeck. I remember you mentioning him before recently. I'm sorry. That's okay, Doctor. Yes, I've talked about him a couple of times because when he first found out he got sick, was actually just a couple of months ago when I was starting to deal with this back problem. And I was hoping once I got the insurance straightened out to go out there to visit him, but, obviously that didn't happen. So, yeah. I just asked a question related to a confusing topic tainted with BS propaganda. Yes. Well, there's always BS propaganda on everything these days, Luke. A dude's thought says the USA had a white indentured servants that were basically slaves. When they started working with black slaves, they gave them more rights to break that alliance up. Well, I don't know the details of a dude's thoughts. I just know that, I understand the basics of what indentured servitude is versus slavery. Slavery, of course, is permanent and considered ownership. Indentured servitude is a voluntary program where you say, oh yeah, take me over to America and I'll work for you for 7 years as a slave, basically. Please don't forget to switch to live chat. Very good advice, my friend, which I did not do yet, so I'm doing that now. Which, of course, just made all that go crazy. And now I lost my space. Wow, I completely lost it. Okay, there we go. Peter says, hey, Trigger, sent you a link on Discord. Wolverine. Oh, and some politics from here the other day. Yeah, if Daniel Radcliffe is going to play Wolverine in the MCU, I think that's a horrible mistake, but we'll see. As for Wolverine being in the MCU, I mean, that's kind of a given that it's going to happen eventually. Thomas says, hey, Trigger, when I joined Space Engineers, I actually had my stuff with me still. Well, hey, there's a first time for everything. Sometimes the game works right. Yay, I'm the first, says Kronos. I think the actress who played Lursa in Star Trek TNG DS9 has just died. Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's... I don't know how old she was, but I didn't think she was that old. What's indentured servitude in English? Is it like a medieval serf? Well, look, indentured servitude is just basically you agree to be a person's slave for a set period of time in exchange for, back in the colonial days, it was most commonly in exchange for passage to the Americas. So you might become someone's slave for 7 years so that you can get a ride on a boat to the United States, so that, or at the time the colonies, so that you could then, live in the new world after your servitude was done. DJ Odyssey says, check PayPal. So let me grab my phone and check PayPal. Jerks everywhere. And yeah. Password and now you see. Okay, and I do see that, my friend, so thank you. And of course, you can pick something if you want, but don't forget, you can always do it through the Streamlabs site, too, if you want, so that way I don't have to, like, grab my phone in the middle of a stream. So, DJ, throw out there if you want a super chat, please. And let me see here. No man, hashtag donate hype is a good thing. I read that, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. And Dr. Axe, I was going to say, Captain Blood. I love that movie. If you haven't seen Captain Blood, it is a fun, classic swashbuckler with Errol Flynn. Just a great, great movie. Very simple. I want to see it remade. So you get, so getting money is going to cost you money up front. RE Doctor. Yeah, exactly. I've spent over $1,000 out of pocket with these healthcare expenses just to try and prove that I'm actually hurting so that I can then get back to work. Did you start a new ship? Yes, Thomas. It's not in the game yet. I'm building it in a creative game, and then I'm going to bring the blueprint over. If all goes well today, I'll finish it up today and come bring it over. I don't know. I'm just so befuddled right now. My head is just a swarming mess right now. It has been for the last couple of months, and I need to get past all this. The pain is what's really driving me crazy. And I know I complain about it a lot, and I don't want to, but it's one of those things that imagine, regardless of the level of pain, now it's pretty significant, I will tell you. The level of discomfort is pretty significant. But imagine if somebody starts pinching you hard enough to hurt, right? So they're pinching you and you're like, ow, stop it. Well, now imagine they've been pinching you for an hour and how you're feeling, because at that point it's driving you nuts, right? Now imagine it's been 2 months. And that's where I'm at right now. And so it's hard for me to focus on anything. So yeah. My opinion is opinions on the Orion slave system. Well, they look a lot hotter than, typical slaves because, they're supposed to. But the Orion slave system is kind of a weird one, considering that the Orion females control their society through their feminine wiles. And but they have the appearance of slavery, which is, that's just kind of bizarre the way they did that in Enterprise. I understand they were trying to get rid of the stigma of slavery in the 23rd century, but yeah, whatever. Surf says, now that summer's over, I can bug you every morning stream now. Yay. Aren't husbands indentured servants to their wives? Lord knows I am. Well, you're doing something wrong then, my friend. Sorry, I'm just saying. And, wow, hold on. The chat just went freaking nuts. Rumor has it Marvel Comics is something special for Iron Man in 2020. Back in the 80s, they created a character called Arno Stark, the Iron Man of 2020. That future is now. I did not know about that, but you know what, Darren? I have not picked up a comic book in a long time because they suck. Yeah, best friends are more family. That I've called family, friends, aunts, and uncles. That's weird. Maybe it's an Irish thing, or UK thing, since obviously I know you're not Irish, Peter, but it must be. Commander Riker with California Tude would be Jonathan Frakes with frosted tips and highlights instead of gray, salt, and pepper. Oh, man. That just hurts. Godspeed says, greetings. Hey, Godspeed. How you doing? What do you think of the ancient Hebrew version of slavery? Well, that's an interesting one because it's actually, ancient Hebrew slavery is more along the lines of indentured servitude in the colonial period because during the year of Jubilee, which I can't remember how often that is, but if you have slaves, you keep them until the year of Jubilee and then you set them free. So it's a similar thing where it is a temporary arrangement. Ozzy wants to know, did you finish the Goliath? No, I'm working on it. And I will unveil it hopefully in the next day or so. Greetings from Newfoundland, Canada. Hey, Ozzy, good to see you. Well, of course, that was you I just read, too. Schmeckelback 2020, feel the schmeck. Jeez. Vile says, apparently Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump teamed up for a fake, to fake the suicide. Oh, no, we're not going there. No. So, just so you guys know, remember, YouTube is specifically putting into their practices, their user agreements and all that, that you will not deny the happenings of events, particularly events that are ruled as tragic. So I'm not going to even get into that. Irish immigrants are off the boat where you're handed a musket and sent straight to the front line for the Union Army. Well, as well you should have. Speaking of slavery, 70% of African slaves stayed in Africa as slaves to other Africans. Well, that's might be true. I know that there was slavery in Africa. I don't know what the actual percentage would be. But here's the thing, Mike. That doesn't change the fact that what happened in the United States was horrible. And I'm not defending or attacking anybody, other than to say that the practice of slavery was and is a horrible practice. Well, seems Wolverine will be in the next Avengers movie first. We'll find out for sure, Peter. If he is, I just don't want it to be Daniel Radcliffe. And then Hector, your accent is back. Oh yeah, that's true. Who writes those news? BirdOPrey5. Good question. Anti-Trekker. I said, did you see the trailer for the new Eddie Murphy movie, My Name is Dolomite? It looks pretty awesome. Wesley Snipes and Craig Robertson are also in it. Good to see Murphy in movies again. I did not see that. I did not know about that. So I hope it's good. Eddie Murphy has not really done much in the realm of good movies in a long time. Coming to America 2 comes out next year? Really? Really? Coming to America 2? Coming to America was a fun movie, but seriously? Irish lost their lands, were forced to work them again under the English lords, who were also sent to the West Indies as chattel slaves. Well, but again, the West Indies and America, two different places, and I know a lot of people don't get that, but well, the West Indies was what we call the Caribbean today. Yes, Barbara Mark and Anti-Trekker Lucer, so she was Lucer, and she was 65. That's sad. Takes some minutes to fade away. Okay. Not sure what you're talking about. I'm curious, any thoughts of Epstein, or do you prefer to leave that alone? I do prefer to leave that one alone, other than to say that from what little I know of Epstein, sounds like he was a horrible person. I just got results back from my first melanoma scan. Excellent results. Lucky to have caught it so early enough. Excellent, CD Horde. That is indeed good news. Episode 9, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Oh, that seems actually a little short to me. I would want, because honestly, considering episode 9 is supposed to be the end of the entire saga, I'm thinking 3-hour movie. But, okay. Okay, so it was slavery, only a temporary one. I wonder if there was African indentured slaves as well. I guess there wouldn't, as Europeans just bought them from the Muslims. I don't know the whole... I don't know of any indentured servitude for Africans, only Europeans. But, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a historian, so I'm certainly willing to be corrected. And let's see. Greetings and salutations, anti-tracker and fellow nerds. Hey, Shomer, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, so we got a lot of music themes in episode 9. Not sure. Vile says, not keeping the Goliath. No, we're keeping it. I'm just rebuilding it because it had a major design flaw that I'm not going to talk about because I wouldn't want to give that information to the Kurogans. But the original had a major design flaw that I'm compensating for on the rebuild that I'm working on. Let's see. I see your Herman Schmeckelbeck, and I raise you a Garbangli. Wow. I can't even pronounce that name. President of Turkmenistan and Sith Master of BirdOPrey5. I didn't know BirdOPrey had a Sith Master. Okay, I was asking because there's barely anything left of the other one. Just asking if you started it. Yeah, I'm in the design phase. I should be over in the group game. I want to spend a little bit of time there today if I can after I make my phone calls, but I'm mainly in a solo game in creative, just getting the ship design done. Robert says, I found out that Patrick Stewart started as Picard at 46 years old, and now Will Wheaton, who played Wesley Crusher, is now 46 years old. Yeah, and yet Will Wheaton looks like he was half the age of what Picard looked like in the first episode of TNG. But that, baldness does that. It makes you look a little older than you are. Until you get to like your 70s, and then it makes you look a little younger than you are. So it's funny. And let me see now. My chat screwed up because I'm so far behind. Sorry about that. What people in the USA need anti-tracker is a national insurance scheme like his here, no upfront fees. Well, the problem is that in order to get a nationalized healthcare system that would really work, and I'm not saying good or bad. I'm not arguing for or against it. I'm just simply saying as a fact, if you want it to work, the way that our legal system is, the first thing you have to do is pass a constitutional amendment. And until you do that, then it's going to just be a mess, which is what we got with Obamacare. Robert says, I found out that Patrick Stewart, I already read that. Wow. Let's see. I send my greetings to Auntie, Stalker of Treats, Occasional Barker, Sniffer Bottoms, Bane of Kuroga, Sleeper Extraordinaire, and Puppet Mistress of Turtistan. Yes, you can see she is busy working very hard at not doing anything at all. Wow, you are on now, Anti-Trigger? I am right here, yes. And you've been here for a while, Kronos, so you knew that. All right, I'm trying to get caught up, so I'm only reading the ones addressed to me, so I apologize if there's something important. Don't forget to put @Anti-Tricker in it. Check this, it's Comic-Con Dublin 2019, and of course, I have time to watch, and when I click on it, it says this page isn't available. But it could be because I'm not signed into Facebook, because I don't use Facebook anymore. I'll be completely honest with you, I do not like Facebook one bit anymore. I never go on there. I still have a Facebook account, but that's only so the people that are trying to find me can message me. I want nothing to do with that whole environment. Facebook is toxic. I'm sorry, it just is, and I'm done with it. No, Anti-Tracker, we want a short, fat Canadian. I agree, we do. That's exactly what we want. We need a short Canadian. We're not necessarily fat, but we need a short Canadian to be Wolverine. Schmeckelbeck, he's our man. If he can't fix it, he's pretty much like everyone else. There it says, I think it's important to remember that the United States nearly destroyed itself in the process of abolishing slavery. That is true. And I'm glad we did. Or something similar. Says Peter. Something similar to a short, fat Canadian. I agree. Danny DeVito should play Wolverine. If Danny DeVito was a bit younger and lost a little bit of weight, he absolutely should. He absolutely could. Shives 2020. What could go wrong? And Scientific Lens says, morning, Anti-Checker and pals. I'm dealing with insurance denying an MRI for my back. I'm in constant pain and know how you feel. What kind of chair are you sitting on, and does it help your back problems? This chair, yes, this was a rather expensive chair that Mrs. Anti-Checker got for me. It is made by, I want to say Serta. It's a bed company. And so the chair is basically got a lot of, it's got the same kind of coils that you would have in a premium mattress. that help support your back and your butt. And I'll tell you, this is about the most comfortable chair I've ever had. But even then, I can only sit here for so long before it drives me crazy. And I need to lie down for a few minutes. But scientific, I would say this. This is like a $500 chair, and I've never had a chair this expensive. But I would definitely recommend investing in a premium chair if you have back problems. I was only saying the Epstein thing to make a bipartisan joke, Andrew, not to promote anything. I understand, Vile. It's just I just want to be careful about that. I'm having enough trouble just trying to get a frickin' video made. It took me hours just to put together that little clip of BirdOPrey. Oh,
Hello world, it's
BirdOPrey5.
BirdOPrey5.
Mr. Scott. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
that clip should have taken me, and thank you, Kronos, for the $5. That clip should have taken me about maybe 20 minutes put together. It took me a couple of hours, and it's just because I can't get anything done. And I hate that about me right now. I absolutely hate that. But you said, you are very annoying. I apologize, Kronos. I don't mean to be annoying. I truly don't. I'm trying to not be. In 2020, Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland are in a remake of Dr. Dolittle. That's interesting, if a bit strange. And let's see let's see. BirdOPrey says, answering the flaw was it made in Kurdistan. The flaw was it was made in Kurdistan. If you're talking about the flaw in the Goliath, yeah, sure, Bird. I'll tell you what, Bird. As soon as I get it back in the game, why don't you come up and show me just what a badass you are and take me on? Andre, do you think George Lucas retains 25% stake in the original characters, and that's the reason why Disney is shying away from using them in Galaxy's Edge and treating them like crap in the movies? First of all, do I think George Lucas retains a 25% stake in the characters? No clue. I know Midnight's Edge and Nerdrotic and others have talked about it. I'm not going to pretend for 1 second to have some insider at Disney or Lucasfilm or anywhere else. I don't know. Now, that being said, let's say hypothetically that is true, that George Lucas does have a 25% stake in the original characters, which would not be completely without precedent. There are cases where an artist who creates a character gets royalties whenever that character is used. Then that does not necessarily warrant what they've warrant what they've done in the movies, because here's the thing. If George Lucas gets 25% stake based on the fact that Luke, Leia, Han, Lando, R2, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and all that are in there, then they still want the movies to be an absolute success, right? Like, The Force Awakens was made a ton of money, right? Over $2 billion. So if George Lucas, say, got 25% of that $2 billion, which he wouldn't get that much, but I'm just saying, if George Lucas got 25% of that $2 billion, then George Lucas would get about $500 million, right? And Disney would get $1.5 billion. And by the way, I know I'm just using stupid easy numbers, not taking into account advertising costs and theatrical cuts and all that, but I'm just going by simplistic numbers to illustrate my point. So it is better for Disney to get 1.5 billion out of 2 than fast forward to when The Last Jedi comes out, or Solo, to get 100% of 1 billion, or 100% of 300 million, or 100% of whatever. It is if you get a 25% stake, but it's a huge success, Disney has no reason to complain about that. Now, would they want Lucas to get a 25% stake? Well, maybe not. I mean, from a financial perspective, it doesn't make much sense. But that's just the way it is. That was part of the cost of buying Star Wars. I think that as far as Disney treating them like crap in the movies, that's all on Kathleen Kennedy. I think she was just basically throwing a big middle finger at the fans. She and this is all speculation on my part. I don't have any proof of any of this, but my personal opinion is Kathleen Kennedy simply hates men in particular. She knows that the Star Wars fan base is mostly male, and so she wanted to stick it to them. And she thought that by making Star Wars for girls, that it'll be an even bigger hit because you'll have your more progressive-minded men who will enjoy men being treated like crap in Star Wars. And then you'll have your hordes of women that will come flocking to Star Wars, which means that Kathleen Kennedy doesn't understand people. In case chat jumped and you missed it, I picked Uber number 2. Thank you, DJ. I did miss it, so let me get that for you right now.
In the tradition of our Vulcan ways, the two of you must fight to the death and Kunat Kalafi.
I don't think this is really all that fair.
I have to choose a winner, and the winner is DJ.
What?
What?
What can I say? I love bunnies.
And that is true. Mrs. Anstrecker does love bunnies. And thank you, DJ. I do appreciate it. This time it's just weirding me out. Not sure what you're talking about. Stuart Foley for Wolverine. Yeah, I don't think that would quite work, but interesting idea. Let's start a petition, anti-checker and all. Petition for what specifically? I must have missed. I have a Serta chair as well. It's actually decent. Serta, I think that might be it. Yeah. I think that is it. But yeah, Roxelle, this is a really good chair. The only complaint I have about the chair is one of the.
Hello world, it's
BirdOPrey5.
Applause.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Absolutely good shooting, Mr. Scott. My only complaint about this chair is that one of the armrests, the right armrest, feels a little wobbly, which I'm sure I could, if I tighten up a screw in there, that'll fix it. But right now, I don't have the energy to do anything like that. Says, Andrew, you hate Facebook and don't like it, but you say you have it so people can reach out to you, and you ignore them. No, what I mean is, I don't log into Facebook ever. However, anybody can send me a Facebook message. I have the Facebook Messenger app, and so I would check that if I get the occasional Facebook message. Not that I would encourage people to start hitting me up in Facebook messaging, because then I would have to start ignoring it if I started getting 8,000 messages every day. Iron Duke is here. Good to see you. Iron Duke says, nice dog. Thank you. She is a very nice dog, and she is never awake. Is that super chat clip short enough not to trigger the content copyright claims? Well, we'll certainly find out. So if this stream goes without a copyright strike by the end of the day, then I will say yes. But right now, I'm not 100% chance. And not a Godzilla fan, says Kronos. Okay. Random. Kuroga spiked your water. That's why you're having problems. That must be it. Thank you, Thomas. Antrigger, still better than editing to me. Spent 2 hours last night working on a video. Got 0 minutes done. That can be rough, Vile. They're actually now remaking Blade. Yes, I heard Blade was coming into the MCU. That could be a good thing, honestly. And I know Wesley Snipes has some people upset, but let's be real. Wesley was great as Blade back in the day, but he's a little old to be Blade now. Unless, and I'm sure you could do an old man Blade story, I guess, but I think it would be more fun to just recast and bring him in, have some fun with it. Doesn't that BirdOPrey guy look like the Nama Nama guy from almost 20 years ago? The Nama Nama guy? I have no idea who the Nama Nama guy is. Must be missing something. Why does Antrigger calling Bird out remind me of South Park and Jimmy and Timmy fighting? Wow. That's just mean. Thomas says the insider in Kuroga says their leader is losing his mind. Well, I don't think you need the insider in Kuroga to figure that out. And Marlena is here. Good to see you, Marlena, as always. As is Cinnabon, who was about ready to pull out his hair over Space Engineers a little while ago. Hope you're feeling a little better, Cinnabon. And I don't know if you've made any progress in tracking down the mysteries of the server, but yeah. And so let me get back to, let's see. May I please see the gun safety NU? And is that MEGGACHAT number 3? I'm not sure if it's number 3, but we'll find out in just a moment. Little classic there. Godspeed says, they check Discord. They snuck in and lied to get into Comic-Con and made our news. So it looks like what you're talking about here is this picture. It's comic art competition by Scientology Community Center. So, so the Scientologists basically set up a booth at the Dublin Comic-Con in order to get people to do their little personality profile tests. That's kind of weird. Cronus, let's see. Well, I was jumping ahead of me. Tentacle says, I think they're talking about merchandising revenue, not movie revenue. And even if that's the case, I think that's stupid if George Lucas gets 25% of them selling a Han Solo action figure, right? Better to get 75% of the revenue from the Han Solo action figure than to get 0, right? Better to get 75% of the Luke Skywalker action figure than 0. So it makes 0 financial sense to purposely get rid of a profitable icon just because it could be more profitable if somebody else if somebody else didn't own part of it, unless Rey and Finn and Poe and everything were just as popular as Luke and Leia and Han and all those guys, which obviously they're not. George Lucas was a screenwriter under SGA rules of Star Wars A New Hope. He was a member at the time, and then, yes, he would get royalties for characters he created from the first film. Yeah. And who cares? That's my point, is I think Disney needs to, I mean, because the problem is, and it's more Kathleen Kennedy. If Kathleen Kennedy continues to crap on the classic characters and basically say F you to the classic fans, why should they continue to watch her movies? That's what that's the sickness of this ultra progressive far left agenda. It's absolutely. I know people say, oh, it's a mental disorder. It almost is, because it makes no sense that you would think that basically, literally, ruining a franchise is a smart financial decision. That doesn't make any sense. Disney's actually making live action Lady and the Tramp, but deleting the Siamese cats. Yes, I know, and that's whatever. I understand. We're in this hyper-sensitive, oh my God, don't make fun of anybody's anything unless they're making fun of the fact that they're white or male or Christian. And I'm so sick of this hyper-political correctness from Hollywood. And don't get me wrong, am I saying, oh, we need songs making fun of Asians? No. What I'm saying is that the Siamese cat song was not I remember it from the original Lady and the Tramp. It was not at least that I can remember, a particularly offensive song. They were just, they were saying, "We are Siamese, if you please," and and as they were singing, they basically demonstrating that they were jerks and cats. And I guess people think, oh, they're trying to say all Asians are jerks or something. I don't know, but that's just. Darren says, entry, I subscribed to Midnight's Edge, Doomcock Nerdrotic. Thoughts on Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek, Star Wars? It made sense to me. Oh, as you subscribe to their thoughts on Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek, and Star Wars. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm not railing against Midnight's Edge, Doomcock Nerdrotic, or any of those guys. And I happen to be friends with a couple of them, and would like to be friends with the one that I'm not friends with because I just don't know him. That being said, I don't have any inside info, so I'm not going to speculate. Sure, it's logical, but that doesn't make it true. He wasn't a member of the Screen Actors the SGA for the rest of his films. Right. Well, part of the reason that he left the Directors Guild over the opening credits of Star Wars, namely that there weren't any. I don't think Solo was that bad. I think Last Jedi backlash to what hurt Solo more than anything. Was Solo a strong movie? Not really, but it wasn't as bad as... No, absolutely. I think Solo was not a bad film, but you're right. It was the backlash from The Last Jedi. People were burnt out and people keep talking franchise fatigue. F you, anybody that thinks it's franchise fatigue. Because here's the thing. Marvel just launched their 23rd movie in a series that only took 10 years, right? That 23rd movie made a ton of money. The 22nd movie in that franchise is the biggest grossing film of all time. It's not franchise fatigue at all. The problem is that people don't want to see crap. It's crap fatigue. We don't want our franchises ruined. And if you put out crap, and then when people say this was crap, and your answer is you're a bad person because you don't like our crap, then it's like, okay, fine, I'm not going to go see your next movie. And then they're like, oh, it must be franchise fatigue. It was because they released Solo just less than a year after the Last Jedi. And it's like, I'm sorry, did you not see what happened on the Marvel side that same year? Because while yes, it's true that Solo came out 6 months after Last Jedi, guess what? Like 2 months after Last Jedi was Black Panther, and before Solo was Infinity War, and both of those movies made a shit ton of money. So, it's not that you released them too close. It's not franchise fatigue. It's that you, Kathleen Kennedy, you ruined the franchise and said F you to the fans who were trying to point out what was going bad. That's why you didn't make as much money. It has nothing to do with the number of movies you release in a year or anything like that. Scrapping the future Star Wars movies doesn't, that's probably a smart choice right now, but only because you guys have screwed over the fans so much that we want nothing to do with you. Right now, we are just months away from a Star Wars movie coming out, and nobody cares. When we were 6 months out from The Force Awakens, I was hyped. Heck, when we were 6 months out from The Last Jedi, I was hyped. This year, I'm like, it's a thing. Sorry, I know, tirade. Luke throws $10 or €10 into the chat. Thank you. Says it's a rumor, but it makes sense. Georgie boy loves money, and he knows how to get it. Plus, that would explain why they why they even went so far as to make only new aliens in the cantina scenes. 4B felt cheap. 4B. I'm not sure what you mean by 4B, but no, I get it. That does make sense as far as the if Lucas is getting a cut, then Disney wants to minimize the damage of them having to share revenue. But if their revenue is either 75% of a fortune or 100% of crap, take the 75% of a fortune. Don't be an idiot. Doc says, greetings from the Med Bay. Hey, Doc, how you doing, my friend? Haven't seen you in a little while, so glad that you are with us, my friend. And wow, I'm way far behind in the chat, so let me speed through some of this stuff. Captain Foley needs to grow a mullet. That would be scary. Tiki. Roxal says, I just noticed your shirt, Ant Checker. I have the same one bought in concert in 2015 in Chicago. Yes. And it's funny because I feel like an idiot because I wore this shirt last night. I put it on right before the live stream last night. And then I forgot to change my shirt. So, oops. In the 90s, we're talking about Glenn Danzig playing Wolverine. He was a small-time rocker, former lead singer of the Jersey band The Misfits. He looked like a short Conan. Well, I don't know that person, but okay. And Luke wants MEGGACHAT number 2. You got it, Luke. Chrono said, I have MEGGACHAT 3. We already played that. I'm sorry for being so far behind. So bear with me, guys. Let me bring up MEGGACHAT number 2 for Luke.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
There we go. Roxal says, wow, Andy Checker with short hair and short goatee. Yes, that was me just a couple of years ago. Peter's laughing at poor Lore. Well, you know, he was kind of an idiot there. Josh says, and again, I'm trying to get ahead, so bear with me. Josh says, you also have to remember, until Fox was bought by its new overlord, it owned the same it owned same of the original and prequel movies. I'm not sure what you mean. Kronos just says, anti-trekker. Kronos. Darren says, entertainment companies today want all the money, sacrificing the original Star Wars to elevate the Disney cast makes sense from their perspective, assuming you can make that work. But that's the problem. You have to make it work. Kronos says, what is a Van Dyke? A Van Dyke is what people commonly misconceive to refer to as a goatee. A Van Dyke is a combination of a chin, beard, and a mustache. Basically, like Tony Stark has a Van Dyke, right? And so a goatee is just the beard. This is a goatee. This is a Van Dyke. The old-timey voice was a fake upper society accent and put in at the time. Is pretty hilarious hearing the actors later talking their natural, almost modern accents. Okay. You okay, girl? Auntie was, I think, hiccuping. Doesn't matter. There's enough dumb people that will still keep going to see all this crap. Even those that bitch about it will still go. But they go less, DJ. That's the thing. If you look at the box office results for Star Wars, it's diminishing returns. The Last Jedi made significantly less than The Force Awakens, and Solo made significantly less than The Last Jedi. Now, will that trend continue with Episode 9? I think Episode 9 will probably make close to $1 billion, but I don't think it's going to break $1 billion. And if so, that's a death knell for Star Wars. People are picking on me. What should I do? Well, figure out why they're picking on you, and then take advantage of it. So, yeah. Peter has a retracted message, and Hector says, you want Antrick or demonetize? I don't want to know what he said. Darren says, lefties and SJWs don't like it when animals, cartoon or otherwise, have non-American accents. Anyway, I got into it with a professor once who was upset that the Taco Bell dog had one. Well, that doesn't make any sense because the Taco Bell dog, A, is a spokesperson for Taco Bell, and B, the Chihuahua is, in fact, a Mexican breed. So, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Seriously, the Siamese cat song is not PC. Wow, is literally going to the point of crazy. Yeah. So the Siamese cat song is definitely out. And here's the thing. I understand the Siamese cat song does call out the ethnicity of the cats. And so some people might find that a bit much. But my understanding is not that they're just cutting out the song. They're cutting out the cats. Like, the Siamese cats are not in the new movie at all. And it's like, why not? You know what? Get Lucy Liu to voice one of the Siamese cats, and get frickin', I don't know, Jackie Chan to voice the other one. That'd be frickin' hilarious. And you know what? It's like, look at the Lion King. Nobody bitched about the fact that you had mostly black people voicing the African animals in the Lion King. Why? Because it makes sense. And in fact, people bitched that in the original animated Lion King that there wasn't enough black people doing the voice work, because it's a tale about the African savannah and all that. But in the remake, there's a lot more black cast members, and nobody's bitching about that. They're not saying, oh, it's racism. No, it's because these are African animals. Although it doesn't make a lot of sense that Seth Rogen's in there, especially considering Disney fired, Gunn for telling dirty jokes, and then they hired Seth Rogen to be in the frickin' Lion King. I'm sorry, but yes, some of the jokes that Gunn did, I'm not defending because I think they were horrible and tasteless. But have you seen Sausage Party? I mean, Seth Rogen is just as bad as anybody else in Hollywood if you want to talk about nasty jokes. All cans are that German Fascist Party. All cans are that the German Fascist Party formed in the 1920s. I should know. All cans? Peter, you lost me. Crap fatigue. Yes, you nailed it. Thank you. The only real fatigue is in the franchise is creative fatigue. I think that's true. Glad to hear the ranting. It's been a long time. Thank you, Kronos. I know. It's funny. Mrs. Anti-Jacker was saying, well, they like it when you rant. Why don't you just rant for a while in the microphone? Because I need something to rant about. Marvel is not the best to use on that, though. Marvel isn't the same set of characters all the time. You have familiar, smaller franchise mixed together in Marvel. Well, but here's the thing, DJ. We had 3 Marvel movies come out in the span of a few months, and nobody got upset about that. And with Star Wars, first of all, you could argue the same thing with Star Wars, because Solo is not the same as The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is part of the mainstream continuity. Solo is a side story, just like Rogue One was a side story, right? Not about the main characters. So, yes, it does make sense to compare it to Marvel, because to say Black Panther could be like Solo, where, Episode 8 would be like an Avengers movie, right? And so if the Avengers really screwed up, let's say that Avengers Endgame was total. Well, actually, we'll do it more apropos. We'll say Avengers Infinity War was total crap. Let's say that, like, that all-girl scene in Avengers Endgame that had everybody groaning. Let's say that the entire movie of Infinity War was like that, where all the guys were just idiots and all the girls were awesome, and it was just horrifically bad and woke and SJW and all that. Guess what? Then I would dare say that the box office for Captain Marvel would have been a whole lot less. And the box office for Endgame would certainly not be setting records. And the box office for Spider-Man Far From Home would have been a whole lot less. It all rolls downhill. And so The Last Jedi may well be what killed the Star Wars franchise. I don't think The Force Awakens did. I think it was The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens showed potential. The Last Jedi killed it. So there are 4 billion, same for Lucasfilm. It always felt quite, the 4 billion for Lucasfilm, it always felt quite cheap to me. It's funny. Well, I think the $4 billion price tag, you mean, for the Disney paid out? I don't think that's cheap. That's a lot of money. Kronos says, Handshake, just let it all out. 4 billion sales. Silly autocorrect. Ah, gotcha. I have crap fatigue, but I love the turd. Keep on ranting, Trigger. Thank you, LC3566. And you know what you need to do? Get a better username, because LC3566 sucks. Just saying. And Kronos says, I have a Van Dyke. Whee! Okay. So I've got a Van Dyke then, Anti-Trigger. Well, if you have the mustache and the goat, then yes. Anti-Trigger, cats did not meow until they domesticated humans. That's probably true. Thundercats Ho says, Anti-Tracker, you mentioned yesterday that you liked the Transformer G1 Marvel Comics. Did you know Marvel UK Comics continued the series to 250 issues after finishing in the States? I did not. And so, no, I had no idea, Thundercats. Anti-Tracker, remember, George Lucas defended the character of Jar Jar Binks on talk shows. True. And George Lucas, here's the thing. The prequels were not nearly as good as the OG trilogy. Right? I don't think anybody's going to argue that the prequels were better than the original trilogy. And George Lucas intended for Jar Jar to be the next R2-D2. Everybody's going to love Jar Jar. Didn't work out that way. And, sure. Part of that was marketing. George Lucas has always been very cognizant of the real money is in the marketing and the toys and all that crap. So he would purposely create new characters, new ships and stuff like that so that he could sell more. That's awesome. That's capitalism. However, what George did not do is say, I'm putting out Jar Jar Binks, so screw Obi-Wan, we'll kill him off. Or we'll just, Obi-Wan or Yoda's not going to show up. Or, we're just going to, No, he didn't, just piss all over the other characters. Yeah, he could have used them better. But, he tried to craft a story that involved Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda and all that. And it just, unfortunately, was inferior. But, there's that. George Lucas made the trilogy, then he kept changing the visual effects with the DVD releases. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the special editions. Kronos, are you ranting again? I'm trying not to. When I pointed out that the Taco Bell dog was a Mexican breed of dog, her response was that that's irrelevant. Then she ended the discussion and moved on. Typical. That's stupid. And Kronos says Taco Bell rocks. I actually like Taco Bell. I know it's horrible, but, I actually enjoy the occasional... Taco Bell taco. Fox owns some rights to the Star Wars original and prequel movies, and that's why Disney hasn't made any new special editions yet. Well, yeah, but you know what? That Disney, Disney needs to get over themselves about shared deals, because look at what they're doing with Sony. Their shared deal with Spider-Man and Sony is absolutely genius. So why won't they do something similar when it comes to Star Wars? I don't know. Truck Reviewer and Tracker, Commander Cavett, Lieutenant Stad, and Lieutenant Carey from TNG and Voyager are the 3 most underrated characters in Star Trek. Well, that's funny because I don't know any of them by name. So, yeah. All cats, Anti-Tracker, not cans. Well, then stop putting cans in the chat. Hollywood is the real racist, and they try to hide it with virtue signaling. I agree. Endgame and Spider-Man came out back-to-back. That is also very true. Endgame and Spider-Man were back-to-back, just, same summer season. Heck, Endgame just came out on home video. I'm sure Spider-Man will be very, very soon. In Shazam, the Green Shazam said that the strip club really wasn't his thing. People are saying that's evidence that the character was gay. I thought he was just moral. What say you? I think that people want it to mean that he's gay because everybody gets all in a tizzy over LGBTQ representation because for some reason people think that that's all diversity means anymore. And quite frankly, with the age of the kid, why do we need little kids to be saying that they're gay? We don't. That's completely inappropriate. You know what's also inappropriate? Little kids to be saying they're straight. You know, it's Hollywood. It's so funny because Hollywood is so hypocritical. They sit there and they try to say that people who are religious or whatever are always trying to force feed their beliefs when they try to force feed their beliefs on you. It's like the ultimate hypocrisy is anytime anyone from Hollywood starts talking about religious people forcing their beliefs on you. What do you think you're doing right now with your movies? You're actually trying to force people to agree with you. Surf says, don't pretend to hate your brother Seth Rogen. I'm not saying I hate Seth Rogen. I'm saying that he's just as filthy, if not filthier, than Gunn. And yet Disney hired him and fired Gunn. Roxanne says, Infinity War was not crap. Now, Endgame, borderline. No, you're missing my point, Roxanne. I'm not saying they were crap. I actually really like both Endgame and Infinity War. I'm saying if Infinity War was crap, then the box office revenue for Endgame would have suffered, just like we've seen with Star Wars. That girl scene bugged me in Endgame and Trigger. Still love the movie. Me too. I didn't like the girl scene, but imagine if that was the focus of the whole movie, then we would be having a very different kind of conversation about it. Wow, and Trigger, just wow, making fun of your fans. I would never make fun of my fans. Oh.
Hello, world. It's
BirdOPrey,
BirdOPrey5. Kapla.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Thundercats. And says, Super Chat number math question. 21 minus 13 equals, well, 21 minus 13 equals this. Oops. Oh, yeah. And Kronos didn't mean to cut off your donation there. It says, you are the preacher. That's right. Everybody bow down. I'm sorry. So what is a Van Dutch? I'm not sure, Darth. Jar Jar was supposed to be a Sith Lord too. Well, that's a fun fan theory. I don't think that was actually the intent, but that would be kind of funny if it was. Jar Jar Binks equals Roger Rabbit, a character Lucas was obsessed with after seeing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yes, I've heard that. No mechanizing is Spaceballs. Okay. Death Dealers in the house says, hey, how you doing, my friend? Lucas peeked at Howard the Duck. We can make Jar Jar working. He's the key to all this. Top 10 quotes right before disasters. I saw the little runt sitting there on a log. I asked him his name, and in a raspy voice he said, Yoda. I do like that song. The hatred flows through you. Me has a Chihuahua, so I'm biased. Well, I'm sorry if you have a Chihuahua. They're annoying little things. Oh, wait, Ed Trigger said Mexicans are annoying. Robert Smith, did I like the prequel Anakin created C-3PO?
Hello, world. It's
BirdOPrey5.
Kapla.
Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
We'll get to your chat in a minute. I didn't get a chance to read it. But Robert was saying, I did like the prequel Anakin created C-3PO. I thought it was kind of a bit much, to be honest with you. Would you like me to send you some Transformers G1 comics from Marvel UK when I'm back in a couple of weeks? Our comics used to be newspaper size. I would be very interested in seeing that. Although, you know, obviously don't do it if you like don't want to part with them, because I'm not going to promise I'll send them back. But I would love to see it. That's my point about Shazam. He was just a kid. Exactly. We don't need that kind of crap. We just don't. No, I got that was your point about it, Peter. But yeah, Cronos says WTF. Not sure why, because I'm so far behind. The girl scene plus Spider-Man. He was in the shot too. That's true. Spider-Man was in the shot, to be fair. So there were two men in the scene, Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. Edgar, you missed my point about Endgame. I was just pooing over the movie because I thought it was crap versus Infinity War. I can understand that. I mean, I know some people liked Infinity War a whole lot more than Endgame. I personally think that the battle at the end of Endgame was so freaking awesome that I can't say that the movie sucked in any way, even though I think the movie would be better if you cut out the 2 minutes of the movie that Captain Marvel was in. And so Kronos hates the moths. I'm so sorry, Kronos. And so Yosef put in €2 that says, I'm a lesbian, love women. Yes, one, signed a paper. Wow. Okay. Joseph, are you okay, my friend? And I assume when you say one, you mean you want Super Chat number 1? At least I hope so, because that's what I'm going to assume.
Oh, no, please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, please. No, I don't want to go. No. Why would you do this to your fans, you heartless monster?
Whatever. So, Dad says some parents don't like when their son plays with a Barbie doll. Well, yeah, I can understand that. There are parents that get a little worked up over that kind of thing. However, what bothers me is when parents try to make their son play with a Barbie doll. That's what bothers me. It's one thing, you know, or like when you know, with what was it, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt? Oh, we're gonna let our 3-year-old choose their gender. What are you talking about? You don't choose your gender. You don't. That is a lie. It didn't escape me that the 2 most recent masculine characters in the Avengers were reduced to pussies, a reference to felines, not anatomy. The 2 most masculine characters in Avengers were feline. You lost me on that one. And Kronos wants UBERCHAT number 7. You got it, Kronos. Well, I'm...
So, does anybody really know why we're fighting anyway?
Well, I think... Hey, didn't he vote for Trump?
He did.
Get him! Get him!
So remember, if anyone has an opinion, they're probably wrong.
Now we know!
And knowing is half the battle.
Ah, yes. Peter says merchandising equals Spaceballs. Answering damn autocorrect. Okay, that makes more sense then. Wesley says, feeling better today? Not really, but, well, I'm feeling better than I was last night. I was really down about Greg's death last night. I'm okay right now as far as that's concerned, but I still got, man, this has been a freaking crappy day. Luke says, 61 watching. All right, hit that like button, guys, for the Kurdistani-Karogan War. Yes. So hopefully I will get some, we'll get some good footage for the war coming up here. Commander Cabot was Voyager's first officer. Lieutenant Stanley was a Betazoid helmsman during Voyager's pilot, and Josh Clark, who played Carrie, appeared. Ah, okay. Well, yeah, Voyager's crew. You know, it's funny because I can't remember who it was talking about Endgame, Voyager Endgame, not Avengers Endgame. And the simple fact that why did Janeway go back in time to when she did? Why didn't she go back to before half her crew was killed? Because she's like, oh, 22 people are going to die, including 7 of 9 in Chakotay. Okay, so that was her motivation for doing the time travel thing. But what about the 100 people that died in the first episode? How about you saved their asses? Your first officer, dead. Your chief medical officer, dead. And your helmsman, dead. And you're okay with this. But no, 7 of 9 is going to die. I need to travel through time. Let's see. Don't send back. You can keep 5 doubles. Okay. Trek Reviewer says, as tactical officer aboard the USS Enterprise D in Star Trek The Next Generation first. Oh, are you talking about Carrie? Okay. Season episode Justice. 7 years later, he portrayed a recurring character, Lieutenant Joe Carey, in 7 episodes of Voyager. Okay, that's cool. That's actually cool. Wesley says this is recorded. Okay, not sure why you're asking that. Darren says, I didn't think the big battle at the end of Endgame was really all that epic compared to the totality of Infinity War. Hulk and Thor were reduced to pussies. That's what you meant. You know what? I don't think that Hulk and Thor were reduced to pussies. I'm actually very seriously looking at doing a video all about Thor. And Hulk, unfortunately, we didn't really get to... I wanted to see a rematch of Hulk and Thanos. We didn't get that. I don't know why Hulk was not really in that final battle. I mean, he was there, but he didn't do anything. And that kind of pissed me off because I wanted to see... Hulk's one of the heavy hitters. Why didn't we get to see him actually do some stuff? Luke, be a Jedi tonight. Do it for Yoda. Okay. Your son should make memes. Yes, he should. Did y'all hear the actress Barbara March passed away at Trigger? Yes, we talked about that earlier, actually. Don't forget, people, smash the like button, share via social, set chat to live, donate if you can, subscribe to a good YouTube channel, and down with Kurdistan. Wait, what? Jerk. That's it. You're fired. Darren says, yeah, I thought it was fitting that Voyager book ended with Janeway making another bad decision. Yes. That was the whole plan. So it's genius. I keep waking up so tired every day. I'm wondering what's wrong with me. Wesley, it's called being human.
Hello, world. It's
BirdOPrey, fire in the
5.
sky. Good shooting, Mr. Scott.
There you go. Chrono says, sounds like you are doing better. Well, thank you, Chrono. I'm trying to keep in higher spirits. I've been so depressed, and it's just not productive to do that. I'm trying to pull myself out of it. I really am. Speaking of Voyager, why not talk of Janeway making an appearance on Picard? After all, she's a strong actress. Yeah, I haven't heard anything on Kate Mulgrew, but I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up. I mean, she was a vice admiral last we saw her, so why not? Yosef throws €2 in and says, I met one woman, the wife and queen. And please, number 23. You got it, Yosef. Yes. Thank you, Yosef. I do appreciate it. Darren says, Thor and Hulk had big targets on them from the SJW left. They had to be reduced. It was a moral imperative. But you see, I don't see why. I mean, but Banner was already something of a pacifist. So I don't think that was necessary. And Thor, I actually don't. I like what they did with Thor. I know you're going to disagree with me on that, but and that's why I want to do a video about it. But I really like what they did with Thor. In fact, I love what they did with Thor. By the way, why don't we talk about the real safety issue here? Why isn't there G seats and seat belts for Starfleet crews? I'm also pretty sure rocks are a hazard in consoles. Yeah, the rocks in the consoles is what I want to know. Who designed these consoles to where they're packed with loose-fitting gravel or something to shoot out when they explode? Banner Hulk did lose an arm in the snap hand tracker, so he could have been flanked. That's true. He didn't lose an arm, but it was badly burnt. So, yeah, that could be it. And Rock Solid saying, donation hype. Thank you, Rock Solid. Wesley says, hand trigger, just have Josh wear a mask of you after your surgery. He can take over your live streams. You guys might not even notice. Let's see. That BirdOPrey award would have been even better if you tilted or shook the footage of Joe. I was actually thinking about doing that, Darren, but I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm not sure. Resolve, I'm still learning some stuff. That sounds like a ha-ha-ha funny, but it's serious. Being depressed is so depressing. Hate it so much. Yeah, Rock Solid. it does sound silly to say something like that, but it's true. You get depressed, and the depression just feeds itself, and you just get further and further down this slope of this horrible feeling, and it's very difficult to pull yourself out. I am trying, and it's been a horrible, horrible path. I will tell you, these last few weeks have just been incredibly difficult for me. This Janeway failed upwards, further establishing Starfleet as the Navy of the future. Corona says, I live depressed, Ant Tracker. Like I said, if you need to talk, DM me. Absolutely, Corona, and I appreciate that. And you know, it's not a lack of support, honestly. I mean, you guys are great. Mrs. Ant Tracker is great. I have a great group of people at the church that I go to. But depression is one of those things that it can just be so hard to come out of. Death Dealer, I know what it's like. I go through depression sometimes. It kills my motivation to work on anything. Yes. And I will tell you that's, you know, well, again, I know it's kind of spoiling what I'm planning on doing, but with my Thor video, that's what Thor did, right? He was depressed, and he retreated to his man cave, so to speak, doing nothing but drinking and playing mindless video games with Korg and Meek. And that there's nothing about that is inaccurate, especially if you consider that Thor was the one person who actually beat Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and because of Thor's hubris, half the universe died. That is a level of guilt that none of us could even comprehend. So, yes. Always look on the bright side of life, says Uncle Remus. Nah, evolution of both Darth Maul. I loved his optimism. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, I would have thought that Banner Hulk could be a comedy genius. That could have been. Thor, real world problems. Yes. And Thor did have real problems there. And I can understand that. Rocks in the ceilings of bridges. Yes, there are rocks in the ceilings as well. Mantis could easily cure Thor of his PTSD. Just put her hands on his forehead and say something like, you have your confidence back. I don't think that Mantis can quite cure that level of trauma. She can ease the suffering you're going, like, she could treat the symptoms, right? Like, she could make his mood lighter, but I don't think she could just make the PTSD and depression just go away. Could you imagine if after they advertised Voyager as being the first show to have a female captain, only to kill her in the first episode? That would have been horrible. Yay, Lebowski Thor, yes. But if Joshua took over the streams, they'd be good. Oh, that was just mean. Exploding consoles are standard issue on Miranda-class starships since they're the red shirts of the fleet. Well, that's true. Let's see. What's this? Where is it airing? What are you talking to me? Oh, well, you see, by the way, did you see The Final Space? I did not. And so I would echo, it's on Cartoon Network. Oh, never heard of it. The Hulk was supposed to have the ability to recover from wounds like Wolverine. His arm was still in a sling at the end of the movie. I thought that was bad. Well, as far as what we've... First, and I know, Darren, that you're big on the comics, but remember, in the MCU, they hadn't really established the extent of Hulk's healing. And so, by having it take a little longer... I mean, if you make the characters completely invincible, that's no fun. And I think that it's pretty obvious that Hulk will recover. Which, obviously, the same amount of damage killed Tony Stark. So, there is that. Wesley says, I think I may be slightly depressed. I don't feel like a kid in a candy store like I normally do. Oh, I wish I felt like that normally. Says, depression stinks. Make sure you get plenty of vitamin D3. Best source, 20 minutes of sunshine a day or vitamins. It doesn't cure depression, but it sure doesn't hurt. I'm more of an indoorsy guy, but I do go outside several times a day to walk the beast there. So, yeah, in fact, right after this live stream, we're going to be going for a walk. We saw Hulk heal himself in earlier films. Well, instantly? I don't remember seeing Hulk like do a Wolverine-style wounds closing up and healing kind of thing. I seem to recall seeing Hulk hurt, then he turns into Banner, then he turns into Hulk again, and he's fine. Peter says that Thanos is severely injured by both snaps. That's true, too. But I don't recall ever seeing like Hulk get cut or injured in some way and having like we see on Wolverine where the cut just closes itself up or something. We don't see anything even remotely like that. We do see the Hulk is injured and we see that the Hulk recovers from said injuries, but we don't really see, at least from what I can think of, any kind of instantaneous healing. So, but yeah. Banner said he put a bullet in his own head and Hulk spit it out. I would think that that would say he had pretty much super healing powers. Or he's bulletproof. Came up with a good reason for the rocks that come from exploding Star Trek consoles. Uses real-world examples of safety foam. I could see it being some kind of safety foam. Auntie moved and is half off the camera. Well, that's okay. I'm going to be wrapping up here in a second anyway. So I do want to say, or Joshua could do a Starfleet safety commercial listing all those neat non-safety features like transporter killing machine, exploding consoles, rock ceilings, no spacesuits. That's actually not bad. In the Edward Norton wound film, his wounds closed. Win. Because I love the Edward Norton film, and I remember him getting a cut on his shoulder, and you never see the cut go. Instead, he turns into Banner, and then he turns back into the Hulk, and the wounds are gone. I don't remember ever seeing him heal. I can't, but and don't get me wrong, Darren, I'm not trying to be argumentative. If you know what happens in the movie, send me a timestamp on Skype or something, and I will check it out. But I don't recall actually seeing a healing taking place on the Hulk. I can't imagine living with false lights inside Alaska's month of darkness. Yeah, my sister goes through that every year in midwinter, 6 weeks. What I've seen of Endgame, what I've seen of Endgame, I love watching Thanos turn Captain Marvel into a ragdoll. Yeah, he does that 3 times, by the way. The actor who plays Captain Sisko refers to himself as brown, not black. Well, he can call himself whatever he wants to, but, whatever. If Thanos offered you the option to choose the criteria for half of all people disappearing, or only he'll snap only 20 people away, but it's your closest friends and family, what would you do? That's a tough one, Bird. That's an interesting moral dilemma, because obviously I wouldn't want my 20 closest friends and family to die, but could you come up with a criteria for killing half the people that you could justify to save the lives of 20? I don't think so. I think you would have to take the 20 closest friends and family. As much as I would hate to do it from a universal scale, it's the only thing that makes sense. But seriously, as someone who also battles depression, my own DMs are often open. Thank you. Enter, you're trying to be argumentative. It's what you live for. Well, I know, but you know what I mean. I'm willing to be corrected. That's what I'm saying. Show it to me, Darren, and I will be more than happy to concede that the Hulk, they did something to change the Hulk in Endgame. But I don't recall ever seeing him just super fast healing on screen. Would you do a non-Star Trek Star Wars review like Final Space? Yeah, I'm looking at a few things. In fact, I got a couple of reviews coming that have nothing to do with Star Trek or Star Wars. And the Infinity Stone's different power level completely. The Snap, again, is another power level. Oh, yeah, the Infinity Stones are very, very much nerfed in the movies. And that actually makes a lot of sense, because if you use the Infinity Stones the way they were in the comics, like in the Infinity Gauntlet, which is my favorite use of the Infinity Stones, is the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, which is basically what Endgame and Infinity War were loosely based on. If you use that, then those Infinity Stones are so freaking powerful that it blows your mind. And really, the only reason you can follow what's going on is because you have the narration from the writers telling you what you're looking at. You can't have that in a movie, at least not really make it work and sustain it at all. But yeah. Get stabbed, turn to stone, healed next night. The Banner Hulk, let's see. Oh, the Banner Hulk healing sounds like Gargoyle's healing. Get stabbed, turn to stone, healed next night. Yeah, that's kind of what I think of. Is like, okay, Hulk gets hurt, he turns into Banner. When he turns back into Hulk, he's regenerated. It's like, because every time he makes the transformation, it's new Hulk flesh or whatever. So I could see something like that. And if Banner is no longer switching back and forth between forms, then his wounds would naturally take longer to heal because he's not switching to Banner and then switching back to Hulk. Death Dealer says, I have a great idea for episode 9. Bring in Chaos Space Marines and turn into a Warhammer crossover. I don't think they're going to do that. Wesley's going to the beach on Thursday. That'll bring me out of the slump. I'm going to an MRI on Thursday. That's not going to help. Robert says, I know Captain Marvel made a whole lot of money, but Brie Larson opening her mouth in interviews is a real problem. I agree. Brie Larson, and that's the funny thing is Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, and I'm going to be doing a review of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is not a horrible film, but it's not a particularly good film. Brie Larson, every time she opens up her mouth, it hurts. What can I say against a dictator? Well, you can say BirdOPrey5 is a dictator. Don't forget, people, smash the like button, share via socials, set chat to live, donate if you can, subscribe to a good YouTube channel, viewer's choice, and down with Karoga. Hey, you got it right that time, Rock Solid. And with that, I am going to wrap it up because I've got a bunch to do. And so, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I do truly appreciate it. You guys are the best. I swear I'm going to get off of this depression horse soon. I'm fighting it with every fiber of my being, and I want to get videos out as much as you guys want to see them. So thank you for sticking with me. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, crap, it's a train!